girl Bernice, and I'm back in with another video. Okay, so in today's video I'm just gonna go straight to the point. So I was talking to a few people and I realized that okay, I have kind of lost myself on the way. I have kind of become a whole different person. So I decided to do this video to to tell you guys a bit more about myself. Who am I? Who is Bernice? And this is a bit more vulnerable. I was talking to a classmate, and as we were having a conversation, what he said was, I can see you don't like to be vulnerable. And that kind of made me think a lot. It was like I had to reflect on the kind of person I am. And as you guys know, I went through something recently, and I feel like that has also shaped me in a way, in a bit. So what am I talking about? Well, I think most people who know me from high school, most people who know me from Pentecost church, because that is a church I attend, they all think I'm loud, I'm very out there. But I realized that whenever I I go out to these kind of programs, I go out to whenever I go to these church events we have, whenever I go to any events that has me talking to people, being loud, being out there, it takes me a really long time to to feel like myself again. I have to come back home, be on my own, be by myself, not talk to anyone, literally go off for a while, just to come back to myself after all these conversations I have. And usually all the conversations I have with people, I feel like they are very, very random. I don't think there's anybody in my church who can put their hands on their chest and be like, oh, I know who Bernice is, I know her very well. Or anyone in my school, from high school days, can be like, I know Bernice, I know her very well. I feel like this one can never do that. Another friend from high school also told me, Bernice, why don't you like to open up? Why don't you talk about yourself? Why are you always I can literally spend hours talking about nothing, but the minute you ask me something that is personal, I don't know, for whatever reason, I shut down. So I decided to after this recent breakup I went through, I decided to start catching up with my friends, start trying to be more out there, try to get to know more people, because I realized that I was always very shut off when it comes to people, but I still had friends I would go out and talk to and everything like that. But I feel after I got into a relationship, I became more closed off, because I had one person in my corner and that was fine for me. So I just shut down a lot more people. So I decided to take the initiative to reach out to people, to start saying hi. And I realized that because I had taken a video, a video was posted recently where I was talking about my breakup. You have people who I message and they think I am messaging them to get together with them, and you have people I'm messaging who think it's fine for them to ask me out already. So it's been a whole mess, but I'm still putting in the effort to try to reach out to all the friends I lost during this during this process, all the people I shut off. But even though I'm still putting the effort, I've realized that it's still been very hard for me, because even the best friends I have, they know me now. They check up on me maximum 3 times a month, and I have mad respect for them. I love them. I love my best friends, but I feel I just sometimes just want to be on my own. Just to know that you're there for me is more than enough for me. And I've realized very quickly in life that is not how it works with everyone. But my best friends are fine with it, because they check up on me, and then when I have time I check up on them, we call, we talk for hours, and then we go back to our space, and that has worked out fine. But unfortunately that is not working out in the real world. Of course my best friends are real as well, but it's not working out in in this university setting, in this outside of my personal bubble setting. So I decided to to come online and answer a few questions about myself, to be a bit more open out there, to be a bit more vulnerable, to be a bit more myself. Because it was crazy how after my breakup, instead of one of my best friends found out the day after that this had happened, the other one found out 2 weeks after, the next one, the third one, found out a week ago. And she was so surprised. She found out a week ago. And even though I had put a video out there, I had not even I had not said much about it. And she was she's also in the university, so she's also a bit busy. She hadn't seen that video, so I had to reach out to her and everything. And we spent hours talking. And she was like, wait, what happened? How? Because if you don't, that was what made me realize, oh my god, okay, I need to start talking to my people. I realized I was actually chatting more with ChatGPT, trying to have ChatGPT's idea of what what the whole relationship was about than actual people, than my actual friends. And one thing ChatGPT told me was I need to talk to my close friends. Like, it actually said talk to your close friends. That also made me realize, oh my god, like, why am I here having a conversation with an AI when I actually do have friends? And I realized it's very hard for me to open up. That is why it was just much more comfortable to have a conversation with ChatGPT. So today in this video, I'm going to be a bit more open. I'm going to talk about like what's going on in my life, how I've been feeling when it comes to people. Like, today I'm just going to be a bit more real and not just be like the surface Bernice everyone sees, who's never sad, who's always laughing, who's always smiling. I do get pissed sometimes, but I feel like there's no point in like, you know, in letting my problems show on my face. There is no need for me to be looking angry. That's why I'm always smiling and laughing, and I'm always being loud and everything, because I feel like if the minute I keep quiet, the minute I go silent, my mood, like my feelings just reflect on my face, and I get so down, I get so sad, and I don't like my mood affecting others. That is why I prefer to, like, you know, just smile and laugh every time, say the most random shit, things that don't even make sense, so I don't have to actually think about what is actually going on in my life. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you know me in real life, you know I'm always laughing, I'm always doing some stupid shit, because I feel like if I stop for a second and actually concentrate on what is going on in my life, I would go crazy. Okay, I'll go crazy. So I prefer to like just laugh about things like that. I also sat down and thought about like why I kind of like, you know, reacted to my breakup the way I reacted, with no emotions, with nothing. And I realized that the big problem I'm having with the breakup is not the breakup, but it's the fact that I would have to open up and be vulnerable to a new person. Maybe not in a few days, maybe not in a few months, but like sometime I would have to open up again to a new person, because this is someone I was with for 5 years, who I opened myself to, I was vulnerable with and everything, and this has ended. And it's like now I have to like find someone else who I have to be vulnerable with, who I have to talk to. And my usual Bernice mode came on, where I just shut off. Anything that involves me being vulnerable, I just like shut off. And that was the exact mood that came on when that whole breakup thing happened. I just shut off. So I guess my emotions were just not present because I had shut them off. So they were just not present. I mean, it's still not present right now, because I would say for me, the breakup is pissing me off. I know it's going to sound wrong when you hear me say it like this, but I think for me, the breakup is more like it's pissing me off, because now it's puts me in a situation I do not want to be in. I think that is how I would describe what I'm feeling right now. So the next thing, what is the hardest lesson you've learned about love or friendship? So I'm using these vulnerable questions for me to like, you know, actually know which topics to hit on, so I don't like just say anything about anything, because I want to like, you know, hit the point and like open up a bit more without opening up too much. I don't know if you guys get my point, but like, yes. So what is the hardest lesson you've learned about love or friendship? Well, as I said, this has to do with me. So for me, the biggest lesson is I need to be a bit more vulnerable, because I realize people feel free telling me stuff. I don't mind listening, giving advice and things like that. But for me to open up, it's very, very hard for me. I feel like I find it really hard to trust people. And when I trust you and then you break that trust, then it affects the next person again, because now it's going to be harder for the next person to get me to trust them. Like, you know, going like that. And I've realized that is the main reason why I have shut off. I have shut down like completely, because I had like a few things go on in my life like a few years ago, and I feel like looking back at all of that now, that might be the main reason why, like, you know, I shut down. I did not even realize that I was shutting down till now. It's gotten to the point where I am no longer at my parents' house, but it's so hard for me to actually get out of my room, get out of my building, to actually go meet up with friends and be like, let's chat, let's catch up. That is the hardest thing you could ask me to do, step out of my room to meet up with anyone. Like, if I step out of my room, I'm going to work, I'm going for my internship job, or I'm going for my weekend job, or I'm going to classes, or I'm going to study in the library. Like, it's very specific things I step out for. And even when people invite me out, I'm like, because I feel like, what are we going to talk about? So it depends on who is inviting me out. Because if I feel like with you, I can talk about random topics for like 1-2 hours and we'll be fine. You won't ask me about anything personal, then I will say, oh yeah, sure, let's meet up. But if I look at you and I feel like this conversation is going to go to a whole personal side, and I'm like, maybe another time, like, you know, anything that involves me opening up, I always shut down. So I'm working on that, but I don't know. Let's see how that goes. Who has impacted your life the most and why? Who has impacted my life the most and why? I don't know who has impacted my life, but I'll say the biggest people in my life, like right now, are my parents and my siblings. If you see me doing anything, like the first thing I would say is, oh, my sisters, or my brother, or my mother, or my father. Any conversation you have with me, some way, somehow, I always find a way to put them in there. I don't know why, but I actually love being around them. I was talking to a course mate recently, and she was like, oh, she doesn't want to go, like, she doesn't like the idea of going home. She wants, like, maybe do her master's and then find a job and then stay in Germany. And I'm like, oh no, I'm excited to go back to go, like, you know, see my parents, my siblings, maybe go stay home for a while. And they're like, whoa, now that they've left home, they don't plan on going home again. I am actually excited to be done with my bachelor's so I can go back home. Like, I'm looking forward to going back to stay with my parents for a while. Like, I have that kind of relationship with them where it's like, it's perfectly fine. I tell them almost everything. Like, if you've done something to me, my parents most likely know about it. My siblings 100% know about it. So it's like, these are like my people. You know how people have like their best friends, they tell stuff? I have my parents and my siblings. I guess maybe that is also another reason why I'm very closed off, because I have other people I could talk to that I don't have to, like, you know, go outside to find. I don't know if that makes sense. What part of your story do you feel people overlook or don't know about yet? Okay, so this just came into my mind. Wait, how long is this video? Okay, so I don't want to make this video too long, but let me answer this question. What part of your story do you feel people overlook? I think people think I'm the happy person, and I get it, because that is the persona I put out there. I put out like that happy person, that person who's always happy, that person who always, like, you know, would not react to shit you do. Like, I see, but I don't react to it because, like, I don't care enough. I have gotten to that point in my life where I'm like, no one deserves to see my sadness. Like, saying it out loud right now, it's sad because it's like, hey, like, you need to, like, be able to show all the emotions so you, like, you know, you open up and stuff. But I personally feel like no one deserves to see my sadness. It's sad to say, but it's the truth. Like, no one deserves it, because people really, like, you know, take advantage and use all these things against you. So I prefer to, like, you know, I would rather be called like that crazy person. That person is like a lunatic. Oh my god, she's crazy. I would rather be labeled that than, oh my god, like, do you know she did this, she did that. Do you know this happened to her, that happened to her? Like, I don't know. I think I was a lot more open in high school, and the stories I heard about myself, even I was shocked. From people I called friends, even I was shocked. So now I feel like that has closed all that door for anyone else. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. What is something you're afraid to admit but you know others might relate to? Something I'm afraid to admit. I think that I would end up alone one day. Like, not in the sense of like marriage or anything like that, but in the sense that, like, I'll end up without any friends. I'll end up being on my own. I'll end up having nothing to do, just work and home. And that scares me, because I have literally closed off all the door to most of my friends, and I feel like that is scary, because I do want to be out there, but I feel too introverted. I feel like it takes way too much energy, because it takes me a lot of time to recharge after I'm out there with people. So I prefer to, like, you know, to be on my own. And being on my own, now I have to deal with the feeling of loneliness. So now I have to combat, like, do I want to be lonely, or do I want to go use all my energy with people and then come back and have to spend days recharging? So it's always like I have to choose a battle, and I don't want to choose a battle. But I know that currently, right now, I am definitely on the loneliness side, because I get lonely a lot, because I just enjoy being on my own. It's sad. Saying it now out loud, it sounds so sad. But I do enjoy, like, just not having to use my energy out there. I know people will be like, you can go out and not see anything. But the problem is that I'm just used to being, like, hyper. Like, I'm very, very hyper when I'm outside. And I don't know how to explain. Like, if you've met me, if you've seen me outside before, if you know me outside, you know I am very loud. I am talking. Like, I even talk over other people. I'm just like, just going. I don't like to keep quiet, because if I keep quiet, the minute I keep quiet for so long, I go into my own shell, and it takes a long time for me to actually step out of that shell. So I prefer to, like, you know, stay hyper and keep talking, so that I only, like, you know, get to my shell when I move away from people, when I go back to my room, when I go back home, things like that. But right in the midst of people, if I keep quiet and I shut down, that is it. And I try to avoid that as much as possible, which is why, so if you have realized that I talk so much and you're always wondering why I talk so much. Now you know the reason, because I don't want to go back into my shell. I just avoid everyone, so I just talk. Anywho, I don't want to make this video too long. This might be like a 9-10 minutes video, but it's fine. This is just me sharing a little bit about myself. I don't know how this would help you get to know me, but this is me. Do subscribe, like this video, share. Till next time, check out Bernice.